Welcome back, blade lovers. This old sword is with you once again. And today we're talking about claws and hawksbills and talons. All kinds of cool stuff that is hooked or curved in nature with a defined point and generally a somewhat shorter blade. Got 6 of them here, all the way from MKM, Beyond EDC, Concept, Besttech, TwoSun, and that's pretty much it for today. I think they have a unique purpose. Not everybody likes them or can use them. Maybe you feel they sort of are akin to a carpet knife, you know, linoleum cutter back in the old days. Vinyl flooring in the new days. We're going to take a look at them regardless, and you may find that they have some unique purposes that could be useful to you, either as utility or defense knife, EDC, what have you. I just thought since I had these 6 and probably a few others, I would show them to you today. The only one that kind of snuck in as a karambit is this TwoSun knife, and I hadn't really intended it because I really wanted these to not be karambit style knives. That's a whole different category, and I could throw a whole lot more knives on the table if we're talking karambits. But since this one is out there, it is the TwoSun. Oh, I don't even have a number. But guess what? Good old TwoSun's putting it on the blade now. It's a Wong design, a TS370 in D2. So let's take a look at it since it's out. It's a long one in the handle, and it does have the ring. The handle's long enough so you don't need to use the ring. You could use the ring as kind of a blunt trauma instrument. We've got a nice thumb ramp here, and it's grabs the thumb quite well in a forward to backward position. One thing I always remark about jimping and thumb ramps is that they don't generally prevent you from sliding off to the side, and I would think the purpose of any sort of rough texture on the back of a blade wouldn't be to keep you from sliding forward, because you've got the whole length of the blade there on the spine. It would be to keep you from slipping off sideways. And most jimping won't do that because it runs sideways. Ever think of that? I have. It's a liner lock inside a titanium frame. Yes, it is titanium, as are most TwoSuns. It is a big, long front flipper. It is a double thumb stud. It's a strange and kind of awkward looking knife, but look, you could put this to some pretty good utility. And one of the purposes behind the hawksbill and talon style blades is that that point can be devastating both for utility work as well as self-defense. And this comes through blazingly, aggressively razor sharp. I don't often have cutting tests that are that successful, especially with kind of an interesting, maybe wonky looking knife. So that's the TS370. Going to put that back so our parting shot is nice and neat, and I'm going to work my way around to the recently acquired Beyond EDC. I deal in a line of work where we have a lot of acronyms in IT, so you can forgive me for that one. This is the Beyond EDC Gara, designed by Dirk Pinkerton. And there's Beyond EDC's logo. It is made in, I believe, VG10 tiny little, tiny little. Let's see. Boy, oh boy. We're going to call it VG10. I'm pretty sure it's VG10. But if they got any smaller with that, we would need a microscope to see it. It's a fuller opening knife. So some people have complained that they couldn't open it easily. Might have a different copy than what I picked up, because it's very fidgety and it fits beautifully in the hand. One thing Dirk did with this, it's kind of a defense plus EDC oriented knife. You can see that there is the axis of the handle right through there, and it's almost perfectly in line with the blade, or the point rather. So instead of the point dropping down below the handle, it's actually raised up above it. So when you do this kind of motion, that point is definitely leading. And it's not as pronounced a hook as the TS370, which is more of a karambit. It's less of a karambit and more of a mild talon. Now, I understand that Gara means claw or talon in claw or talon. I was thinking Italian, but I said Italian. It means claw in Spanish. There you go. Nice tan G10, deep carry clip on both sides. Got a little plate in there you can take out and move it over. I think it's nicely done, and as with many of Dirk's designs, there's jimping all over. So whether you choose to hold this knife and perfectly thumb cap it there this way, like a karambit without a ring, or hold it this way or this way, it's just a really flexible knife. EDC it, use that point, no problem. Cut with it. Can he cut with it? Let's find out. We could cut with the other one. Oh yeah. These little claw knives, they're coming through sharper than some of the standard blades. So that's the Gara, and I believe VG10. Working our way around. I got to get this name right, so I'm looking at my notes. This is a concept knife, and it is the KTC3, and I believe it's Koch, K-O-C-H, tool company, like Heckler and Koch. Coke's better than Pepsi? I don't know. It's a German word. I believe I'm pronouncing it right. But that's the KTC3, which was a real unusual knife for Concept to come out with, showing you that they do take chances. And it's a pretty much abbreviated handle. Nice thumb ramp, a little bit on the smooth side, kind of bumpy, lumpy feeling there, but not bad. Again, it's a gradual claw, somewhat similar to the Gara. It definitely drops, which is different from the Gara. Do you see that? So there's the Gara, and there's the KTC3. And if we line the handles up this way, you can see how far that KTC3 drops below the handle line. So it's definitely ahead of your hand when you're using it this way, and can still be used as a tool. I don't know why they did the compound grind here. I don't know that it serves any real purpose. It's looking like the angle of the edge is the same all the way through, so I think it's all for looks. And those fullers, I'm not sure they really do very much. Maybe lighten the blade a little bit. I picked up the orange one with the black. It was just kind of flashy, stood out to me, talked to me more than the others. And I think this is around a $60, $70 item. I'm going to attempt to put links to purchase these in the notes, so keep your eyes out for that. How about the MKM Izzano? This is a Voxnays design, And there was a series of these. This was the only one that was a hawksbill. Really cool little S-curve talon there with a belly in the back and a point in the front. Like kind of like a bird's beak, you know? Exotic tropical bird. Big old hole there for you put your whole carabiner through there. It is not in and of itself a carabiner. It doesn't move. And we've got green FRN here. We've got a wire clip, and it's transferable to the left side. Got a full choil there, finger choil. Don't get, you know, too frisky because it's pointy there and it can bite you. So you have to stay back just a little bit, kind of trigger it back towards you, and you got a pretty good hold because the middle finger fits right in that finger groove, third finger there, and then the pinky kind of wraps around the end. So small as it is, in this position you can get all fingers on it. Back here you pretty much lose the pinky from the grip. Can be used this way, karambit style. And what's the steel on this guy? Okay, so this one's N690CO. And it's an Italian-made knife, so that's what they use over there, and they always put the CO on the end, but I understand N690 and N690CO are pretty much, if not the same thing. This guy can open with the finger hole, flipper tab, or you can thumb it open. Don't know if you can exert the energy to flick it all the way open, but you can certainly roll it open. With a little practice, you can flick it open. Middle finger's a little easier. Small, light, useful knife. If you're looking for a real small package for EDC or backup, that may be the one. How about the Strellet? Is an Ostapel designed knife. This one's in Damascus. It's from Besttech. Came out about a year ago, and it is just teeny small. Interesting thing is, it's got a wave style opener, but it doesn't open 180 degrees, it opens 90 degrees. So we now have a Talon push dagger. So not only can you push with it, you can claw with it. And I defy anybody to get that out of my hand. You know, we talk about rings or no rings. That's a push dagger, and that thing, as small as it looked in the closed position, and it's a frame lock, hardened steel insert and the whole 9 yards. And I think you can get this in, forget if they're making them in 20 CV or 30 S35VN besides the Damascus. I thought the Damascus with the brass was a good flavor, and that's what I got. So there's your flipper. Very short throw on that because only coming out in 90 degrees, or as I said, well, you can actually use that to thumb roll it open. Kind of cool, right? Locks in place very positively, or pulling it out of the pocket on the pants, easily open it that way, or even in the front shirt pocket. But once it's between the first and middle fingers, there it is. So could that be used as EDC? Sure. In this position, maybe in that position. Hard to say. Not too many ways you can hold it that isn't really self-defense oriented. But that's a devastating little blade. Another claw. And here's the Big Daddy claw on the table of them all. This is a TwoSun Karambit claw designed by Mazwan Mokhtar. And it is the, got it here somewhere, Yes, the TS242. Back in the days when they didn't put that on the blade. And in fact, the only marking you're going to find on this blade is the steel, which is M390. But one of the most beautiful karambits, and I did say I wasn't going to put karambits out there, but hey, what the heck. 4 of them are not, and 2 are. So these two TwoSuns have the ring. But since it can be used without the ring, I think it's kind of cool. Again, high quality steel M390. A very, very wide Raptor style claw on this one. Frame lock. Beautiful carbon fiber. Titanium handle with a ring that looks like a tractor tread. That is just too cool. Can be opened there. Can be opened finger flick. And has a very interesting front oriented flipper. See if I can do that. There we go. Where you can open it that way. And you may notice no clip. I wrote that in the review. Mazwan Mokhtar himself got back to me and said that in the area where he is from, and I believe it's somewhere in Indonesia, where they practice penjaks a lot, where they use this style of weapon a lot, he said a lot of them just carry in their waistband, and they don't have pockets, or they don't bother carrying knives in their pockets. So carried in the waistband, and then they would simply open it with 2 hands. Of course, you can take it out of the waistband, flick it open with the thumb. You could flick it open with the finger, or use that front flipper. It's just a real class knife. And if you do hold it with the ring, it's almost a little too big, because you got a good inch left over on the handle before you see any blade. And most people using karambit like the blade to be a little closer to the edge of the hand, so they can work in close and still have some cutting done with that. So it's big as a karambit goes, but again, you can hold it without the ring, either position. There is a school of karambit use where they use it point up. Most karambit stylists will use it point down and edge forward, so that the cutting is done all in a forward motion. That's the TS242 by TwoSun. Apologies if I wandered into karambit land here. My intent was to show you folding blades that were claw-like in nature, hawksbill, whatever you like to call it. Hooks to the blade. Hope you enjoyed this hopefully interesting overview of this style of knife, and I'll be back with you soon. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe.